dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Keaton Hall. A teen and a young child are dead, and another teen is in the hospital with serious injuries after a UTV crash in Magoffin County. It happened around 7:15 last night on Kentucky Route 7 in the Salyersville community. According to KSP, a UTV left the road, went over an embankment and hit a tree. The 15-year-old driver was taken to the hospital and is listed in critical condition. Another passenger was pronounced dead at the scene, and a young boy was taken to the hospital where he later died. The victims have been identified as 15-year-old Angelica Faith Rife, a student at Magoffin County High School, and 4-year-old Branston Hill. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. A UK student is facing charges in connection to an alleged assault on campus. Sophia Rosing is facing several charges, including public intoxication, assault, and assaulting an officer. Video spread online appears to show Rosing hitting a black student while calling her a racial slur. Samantha Valentino has the latest.
For those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Kyla Spring, and I'm a student at the University of Kentucky.
Spring was working the front desk at Boyd Hall on campus when she says a student who appeared to be intoxicated entered the building.
I say, "Are you okay?" And she continues to look at me, and she starts calling me a What did I do to you? She bit me along my arm. She punched me in my face. And she kicked me in my stomach as well. She tried to run me over with a grocery cart that was in the lobby. This girl just continuously was berating me, not only with her words, but with her hands.
Police later arrived and arrested the girl we now know to be Sophia Rosing. She's charged with assault and assaulting a police officer.
The video quickly spread on social media, and students tell us they were ashamed of what they saw.
I was just real disappointed to see that, one of my fellow students is acting that way towards another one of my fellow students. And I just hope everybody at UK always feels safe and comfortable, and obviously that's not what happened.
UK released a statement saying they are investigating the situation, adding that the actions in the video, quote, are deeply antithetical to what we are and what we always want to be as a community.
The amount of racism that you still see to this day means that people are still teaching their children that to still live like the past, and that's not how it is anymore. They need to grow up and live in this century.
Treasure Houston and her friends were in Boyd Saturday night. They say they just missed the incident, but saw the videos.
It was heartbreaking. Like, it hit me to the core.
Houston says what she saw made her feel less safe on campus.
It's kind of hard because there could still be a potential that it could happen to me, and I don't want to see it happen to anybody else.
Patricia Luna walked into the lobby just as the situation was getting started.
I heard a slap, and then I heard racial slurs, and I was like, that's not okay. So I'm not going to leave, and I'm going to pull out my phone so that I can record.
Luna stayed until police came and arrested Rosing.
The girl that was being harassed, she handled that so beautifully. Like, she was always so professional and kind and didn't resort to violence, even though that Sophia gave her every single reason to want to fight back.
In Lexington, Samantha Valentino,
And UK President Eli Capilouto went on to say that teams are reaching out to the student victims who were subject to the behavior to offer support.
Well, we are tracking a few showers as we close out the weekend. Let's go over to UVA-wise right now. You can see a cloudy sky back in the distance. Current temperature is sitting at 61 degrees, so mild as we go through the rest of tonight. Above average temperatures continue, 66 in Somerset, 69 in Pikeville, 62 for Manchester, and 63 over in Harlan. Those clouds acting as a blanket, so temperatures not falling too much tonight, only falling into the upper 50s and lower 60s. And up on satellite and radar, a few showers, mainly over the Big Sandy, but we could see a few more showers as we go into tonight and also into your Monday morning. This forecast looks like this: upper 50s, lower 60s. We stay cloudy, also watching out for a few showers. I have your full forecast and what you can expect for your work week coming up in just a little bit. Keaton.
Thank you, Cameron. It's that time of year again when we change the clocks. Daylight saving time came to an end overnight. Whether we gain an hour of sleep or lose it, the amount of daylight can significantly affect your health. Experts say less exposure to the sun means less vitamin D in our system, which can affect bones and fatigue. The lack of sun can also lead to seasonal affective disorder or depression. One thing you can do to regulate your sleep schedule, is to try and regulate your sleep schedule as best as you can.
Springing forward or springing back, it affects our sleep pattern and can affect our circadian rhythm, and sleep is important in terms of just our immune system and well-being.
Getting a good night's rest can help you maintain low stress as well. A new study offers some hope for treatment of long COVID. Paxlovid, which is already used to reduce the risk of death and hospitalization from COVID, also seems to reduce the risk of long COVID. That finding comes from a study of 9,000 veterans who took Paxlovid within the first 5 days of their infection. The VA health system study showed that the Pfizer antiviral treatment showed a 26% reduced risk of developing several long COVID symptoms. Those include heart disease, blood disorders, fatigue, muscle pain, and shortness of breath. The patients in the study were largely white male veterans with an average age of 65 and were diagnosed with COVID-19 between March and June of 22. It's important to point out the study posted online Saturday has not been published in a medical journal or gone through a peer review. Reports have recently surfaced about a diesel shortage in the U.S., but experts say it's not something people need to panic over. Lori Weaver-Hawkins with AAA says the country currently has about a 25-day supply of diesel, but that metric has been misinterpreted by some. Hawkins says that would only be the case if diesel stopped being produced, but reports have prompted some panic among consumers, leading them to buy in large quantities.
We're not running out in 25 days, but please don't panic buy, because that does upset the recovery as far as supply demand goes.
Drivers running on diesel are feeling the pain at the pump as a result of the shortage. She points out that diesel price is especially important because it comes at a greater cost to the population than just the fill-up, since many retailers rely on trucks powered by diesel. Lacey Hale has become a well-known artist across the region. She's most known for creating the slogan, "No hate in my holler." She created that a few years ago. The flood destroyed her studio, but WYMT's Chandler Wilcox talked to her about how her love for Eastern Kentucky and passion for art grew even stronger.
Each stroke of a paintbrush means more than ever before to Lacey.
There was a point where I was just like, I don't know that this is going to be possible for me to get back to. And I don't know if this is, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
After the flood, she was not sure art was in her future.
You know, to see all that work go down the drain, that was heartbreaking.
Her studio once sat inside her husband's business, Roundabout Music in Whitesburg. Now it sits vacant after flood damage. Day after day passed of cleaning up, so many hours doing so that Lacey became emotional.
It was most days, you know, I'd come in and I'd be in tears because it was just random people that and they'd come in just to help, and they'd be covered in mud. The most disgusting smelling toxic sludge you could imagine, just to help us.
Once Lacey and her husband got back on their feet, they moved to an upstairs studio just up the road, and she knew her next mission.
I made a design about Eastern Kentucky, and it really seemed to bolster people's emotions and feelings about, I don't know. It got a lot of good feedback, and I was like, well, maybe art is not so trivial, you know.
Now art takes on an even greater meaning to Lacey's life. In Whitesburg, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
You can find Lacey Hale's art gallery along with Roundabout Music on Main Street in Whitesburg, right above Brent's Barbershop. Coming up at 11, how animal shelters in Eastern Kentucky have been operating since the flood.
And a few showers are possible tonight and into your Monday. I have those details coming up.